Adobe Photoshop is a very powerful graphic design software program that takes time to master, but by watching this video you can learn the basics. First, we're going to come to File New to create a new canvas to work from. We can set the size of the canvas between inches and pixels when we're working in Photoshop. We also want to set the resolution. 300 is a standard DPI high resolution image, while 72 is the standard low resolution. Then we want to choose our color mode. CMYK color mode is ideal for creating a color separated screen print design, versus RGB color mode is better for full color digital printing. Then we want to choose our background contents between transparent, white, and any other color. Now to show the tools of Photoshop, we're going to put an image in here, and in our case, a soccer ball. Now, one of the most important things to understand within Photoshop are the file types that you can save artwork. So we're going to come to File, Save As, and you can see there are many different file formats you can save within Photoshop. A Photoshop file format will allow you to save layers, which makes it easy for somebody else who has Photoshop to edit the artwork, or you can save it as an EPS, JPEG, or PDF when you're working in the CMYK color mode. If we were working in the RGB color mode, we would have different options as far as the file formats that we can save. Next, we have the Edit. Within this toolbar, we can choose to go forward, backward, cut and copy, and even paste images or layers. We can also transform text and images within the Edit section of Photoshop. If we want to scale, rotate, or skew the image, we can change the way it'll appear on our canvas. These are handy tools when you want to manipulate the artwork to look a little bit different than just flat on the image. Next, we have the image. Within the mode, we can choose between RGB and CMYK. Again, it's very important to understand that CMYK is ideal for creating color-separated screen print artwork, while RGB is better for full-color digital printing. RGB will have more colors than CMYK capabilities. Now, to use the adjustments tools within the image section, you first must rasterize the layer, which we can do by right-clicking on Rasterize Layer of the layer, and now you can see the adjustments options are now available for this image. The adjustments allow you to essentially change the look and color of the image or photo. Again, this is a great tool to use when you have photos if you want to add contrast and or brightness or any other type of color overlay that you want to add within the image section. The Layers toolbar allows you to do everything you can do in the layer window, such as create new layers, merge layers, group layers, and even turn them into smart objects or rasterize them. Within the Select toolbar, you will primarily use the Color Range tool. Now, the Color Range tool allows you to select a color within the artwork, which you will often use to change or delete. So first you have to go to your magic wand and select a color on the canvas. Once you've selected the color, you can adjust the fuzziness to determine how much of the color you want to pick. If the fuzziness was at the maximum, it would choose all of the colors on the artwork, versus the lower it is, the less sensitive it is. The majority of the tools that you will use are located within the main toolbar. First, you have the Move tool, which allows you to move whatever current layer you have selected. If you have multiple layers, even a group of layers selected, you will end up moving all of them at the same time. Next, you have the Marquee tool, which allows you to grab a certain area of the current layer. This is often used to delete or move that area of that layer. The Lasso tool works just like the Marquee tool, in which allows you to grab a certain area, but gives you more flexibility. The Magic Wand tool again allows you to grab a certain area of the image or current layer selected, but it's all based on the amount of color. The color is all based around the tolerance. The higher the tolerance, the more color that will be grabbed and therefore can be replaced or deleted. The Crop tool works just like you would think. It allows you to crop the entire image down to a smaller size. The Paintbrush tool works just like if you were to use a paintbrush on canvas. The Eraser tool, like the Paintbrush tool, allows you to use it just like you would think. Erase the certain aspect of the current layer. There are many different options as far as using the eraser. Next, you have the Paint Bucket tool, which allows you to change a certain color within the image. You first have to use the Magic Wand tool to select the color that you would like to replace, and then you can use the Paint Bucket tool from there. The Text tool works just like you would think. you can add text to your design and then even apply different effects by coming to Edit, Transform, Warp. From here you can add different effects such as arch, fisheye, flag, wavy, and many others. The Shape tool allows you to add many different types of shapes for creating the perfect design. Now, if you click on the bottom left, you can use the Color tool to choose whatever color you want to color overlay an image or even a text. If you bring the color onto the palette, you can actually use the eyedropper tool to select the exact color you want. You can also enter in RGB, CMYK, and hex number values to create the exact color that your customer demands. Now, on the far right, we have our layers window open. If we click on the eye of a layer, we actually make it visible or invisible. By clicking it, in this situation, we make it invisible. Now, we're going to change our text to soccer and resize it accordingly. Now, layers in Photoshop work just like you would think. Whatever layers on top of the other is what essentially will be displayed over the other. So if we drag soccer under the clip art, it'll display under the clip art. But if we put it over the clip art, it'll display on top of it. Now, if you double click the layer, you will have different layer styles become available, such as a color overlay, which allows you to put an entire color over the entire image. The stroke allows you to add an outline to either an image or text. You can control what your color of the stroke is and how large it actually is within the stroke settings. There are many different layer style properties that you can apply to make your artwork perfect. Down here at the bottom, you can actually add a new layer or even create a new group. Now, it is a good idea to put all of your layers in a group so that you can then duplicate that group and have a backup of all of your layers. This allows you to go back in time at any point of the adjustments you've made to your layers. Now, a good idea to do as well is to convert whatever layer or group of layers is finalized to a smart object. By creating it into a smart object and then rasterizing the layer, you are drastically reducing the save size for the artwork. It is extremely important to remember that Photoshop is a bitmap raster image program in which it uses dots and pixels to create artwork, unlike a vector program which uses lines and curves. So if we were to scale our image to become larger, it actually becomes pixelated. So it is extremely important that when you're creating a bitmap image that you design it at the exact size or larger, and then we can shrink it from there without losing any image quality. We also highly suggest that you have the history and character windows open. The history tool allows you to go back in time to your past edits from which you were using. The character window allows you to change certain aspects of the text within your artwork, such as the distance between each letter and the distance between each line if you have multiple lines of text. We hope that this video has been helpful and gives you a better idea of how to use Photoshop. Thank you.